Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026.
Yep.
And looking at the reports on the desk this morning, I have to say, it feels like we're living through one of those just singular moments in tech history.
It really does.
It's one of those days where the signals are so contradictory, the stakes so high, you almost have to laugh to keep from getting vertigo.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating morning. I mean, if you're only reading the tech blogs, you'd think we've hit some utopian golden age philosophy, space exploration.
Right.
But then you switch tabs to your brokerage account, and it's just carnage. Absolute carnage.
That is the perfect way to frame it. It's a tale of two headlines.
Mm-hmm.
On one side, you have Anthropic, everyone knows them, releasing this beautiful manifesto today, A Space to Think. They're doubling down on being the good guys. No ads, just pure utility. It all sounds lovely.
It does.
And then you flip the page, and their new tools have apparently triggered a global stock market rout, wiped out, roughly $285 billion in value?
In just a few days, yeah. It's a massive paradox, and it all comes from the same company.
A company founded by ex-OpenAI people
Yeah.
on this, romantic mission for safe, ethical AI.
Exactly. And somehow that exact mission has turned them into maybe the most aggressive economic disruptor we've seen since, I don't know, the internet itself.
And here's the thing that really blew my mind. Reading through the source material for today.
Go on.
While Wall Street is panicking about software stocks crashing, this same AI, the exact same brain, was driving a rover on Mars just a few days ago.
That's the range we're dealing with, from the red planet to the red ink on the stock chart.
It's unbelievable.
It's not often you connect NASA engineering with a market crash in the same breath.
Okay, so we have a lot to unpack. We're going to dig into these new co-work tools that are terrifying investors. We need to look under the hood of the Claude 4.5 family that made this all possible.
And we have to talk about that no ads promise. Is it sustainable or just, a nice marketing slogan?
Exactly. It's going to be a busy deep dive.
Let's
All right, let's start with the fun stuff before we get to the financial doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Mars. I feel like this news kind of got buried, but that NASA press release from January 30th, it feels historic.
It's absolutely historic. According to the reports, Claude officially assisted NASA's Perseverance rover last week.
And not just crunching data back here on Earth. Right?
No, not at all, which AI has done for years. This was different. The AI helped plan and then execute a 400-meter autonomous drive on the Martian surface.
That is wild. Now, 400 meters. That might not sound like a lot. It's just down the block.
Right.
But for a rover on another planet, that's a marathon.
Precisely. And you have to get the context. Usually driving a rover is this painstaking stop-and-go process. You send a command.
Wait 20 minutes for the signal to get there.
Right, the light speed lag. It moves 2 inches, sees a shadow, stops, waits for confirmation. It's incredibly slow because the brain is on Earth.
You can't just joystick it in real time.
Exactly. But this was an autonomous drive. They uploaded a distilled version of the model to the rover itself. It gave Perseverance a brain,
Yeah.
to navigate in real time, identify hazards, make its own decisions without phoning home every 5 seconds.
So it looked at the rocks, plotted a path, and just drove.
It just drove.
I mean, that's the ultimate proof of utility. If you can trust it with a billion-dollar piece of hardware on a planet where you can't just call a tow truck.
Then you can probably trust it to handle some tasks back on Earth. That's the implication. It validates the model's reliability.
But then we fast forward to today, February 4th, and they released this manifesto. Claude is a space to think.
It's a very deliberate pivot from look what we can do on Mars to look how we treat you on Earth.
A space to think. It sounds very zen, but what does it actually mean in business terms? Usually space in tech just means ad space.
Well, this is them drawing a line in the sand. I mean, we are 20 years into the ad-supported internet. Google, Meta, they run on ads.
Everyone does.
Everyone. And Anthropic just came out today and reaffirmed, no, Claude will remain free of ads and sponsored content, period.
Which, as a user, sounds amazing. I hate trying to get work done and suddenly I'm being sold a toaster. But why? Is it just moral posturing?
It's deeper than that, I think. It's rooted in their constitutional AI framework. They argue that ad incentives fundamentally conflict with being, quote, genuinely useful.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. If an AI is trying to sell you something, if its revenue depends on you clicking a link, can you really trust its answer?
Not really, no. It's a conflict of interest. Is it the best product? Or did the advertiser just pay them up?
Exactly. They want Claude to be a neutral tool, a partner for your thoughts. The second it becomes a salesman, that trust is gone.
Okay, I buy the trust angle.
Yeah.
But I have to be the cynic here. These data centers, the training, it all costs billions. How do they survive without ads? Are they just burning venture capital cash forever?
It's the multi-billion-dollar question, for sure. And they're betting on an alternative model. High-value utility. Instead of free with ads, they want to be the premium tool you pay for. But, and this is interesting, they're playing a very long game with accessibility. The sources say they're offering massive discounts for nonprofits. They're running global education pilots.
Oh, right, I saw that. They mentioned Iceland and Rwanda, didn't they?
Yes, using them as test beds to integrate AI directly into national education systems.
That's a fascinating strategy. Get the next generation of students using your tool, and you lock them in for life.
It's the old Apple in the classroom play, but on a global scale. Plus, they're investing in keeping their best model, the frontier ones, partly free. They need people to get hooked on how useful it is.
So that eventually, their companies will pay for the heavy-duty enterprise features.
That's the bet. There's also a hint about potential regional pricing to make it fair globally. But for any of that to work, the tech has to be incredible. It has to be worth paying for.
Which brings us to the engine room, the Claude 4.5 family. So for someone who hasn't been tracking every single release, can you break down what makes this lineup so different?
Sure. So Anthropic basically split their AI into 3 distinct personalities. You've got Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku.
Sounds like a poetry
A
slam.
very serious one. Let's start with Claude Opus 4.5, came out in November 2025. This is the heavy hitter, the genius.
The one for the really complex stuff.
Correct. It's currently the world leader in coding. There's this benchmark, SWE Bench Software Engineering Benchmark. Opus 4.5 scores around 80 to 81%.
And for context, where were we on that a year or two ago?
Low double digits. An 80% score means it can solve the vast majority of real-world software issues on its own. It's not just a helper anymore, it's a junior engineer.
And didn't I read they cut the price? Usually the pro version gets more expensive.
That was the shocker, dropped the price by 67%. They're aggressively trying to commoditize that high-level intelligence.
Okay, that's Opus. What about the others?
Then you have Claude Sonnet 4.5. Think of this as the workhorse. Best for most real-world tasks, but its superpower is focus. It can maintain attention on autonomous tasks for over 30 hours.
30 hours. I can't maintain focus for 30 minutes.
That's exactly why it's so disruptive for corporate work. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't need a coffee break.
Right.
And then finally, Claude Haiku 4.5, the speedster, fast, cheap, offers near-frontier performance at a fraction of the cost.
Got it. The sources also mentioned 2 concepts that seem to be the secret sauce. Computer use and extended thinking. Can we define those?
Yeah, computer use sounds generic, but it's revolutionary.
Like a class from middle school.
Right. But until recently, AI just generated text in a chat box. Computer use means the AI can literally control a graphical interface like a human does. It moves the mouse, clicks buttons, opens apps, drags and drops files.
So it's not just writing code, it's opening the coding program.
Exactly. Opening it, running it, seeing the error message, and then going back to fix it.
Wow. So it has hands, basically.
Virtually speaking, yeah. And extended thinking is their method for reducing hallucinations. The model basically takes time to think before it answers. It creates a chain of thought, checks its own work, and challenges its own assumptions.
So it's less likely to just confidently make stuff up.
Significantly less likely. It has an internal monologue where it basically argues with itself to find the right answer.
Which brings us to the elephant in the room, or maybe the bear in the market. We had this incredible tech, and today the stock market crashed.
The rout, as the financial papers are calling it.
But why today, specifically? What changed this morning?
It all comes down to a new tool called Claude Cowork and the specialized plugins that came with it.
Cowork. Again, sounds very friendly.
Sounds friendly, but for the software industry, it is proving to be deadly. Cowork is a simplified graphic interface designed for non-coders. It lets anyone, a manager, a lawyer, anyone, automate entire workflows without writing a single line of code.
So it democratizes automation.
Yes. But here's the kicker. They released specialized plugins for legal, sales, marketing. And the catalyst for today's crash was a specific legal plugin that appeared on GitHub.
Okay, what did this plugin do that scared Wall Street so badly?
It automates tasks that until now required very expensive specialized software and very expensive human lawyers. We're talking NDA reviews, compliance checks.
And because this plugin is out there and is presumably much cheaper,
The market panicked. Investors looked at companies like RELX, Wolters Kluwer, Pearson, these giants of professional software.
Right.
They have huge moats because they own the data and the complex tools. But suddenly, investors realized that moat might be gone. Their shares dropped 8 to 14%.
14% for a blue chip company, that's a disaster. That's not a fluctuation, that's a repricing of the company's entire future.
It is. Bloomberg and Reuters are reporting a total sector wipeout of about $285 billion, $250 billion of value. Gone.
So let's connect the dots. Why does this matter beyond some stock tickers turning red?
It matters because it's a wake-up call about the value of work. For a long time, we thought of AI as a chatbot, a helper. This crash means we've shifted to end-to-end automation. The AI isn't just chatting anymore, it's doing the job.
It's moving from assistant to agent.
Correct. And it threatens the business models of mid-level consultancies, legal tech. If you're charging clients for hours of document review and Claude can do it in seconds with a free plugin, your business model just evaporated.
It's the ultimate irony, isn't it?
Eh.
We started this talking about Anthropic's romantic mission for safety. A space to think. And yet here they are, causing arguably the most economic chaos of any AI company so far.
It's a profound contradiction. The company obsessed with safety is the one breaking the economy. And this raises huge questions about the job market. The sources mention disempowerment patterns.
That sounds ominous.
It is. We have to ask, who is at risk here? It's not the top partners at law firms, not yet.
Right.
But it's the junior lawyers, the entry-level data analysts, the people whose job is essentially learning by doing all the drudgery.
If the AI can do that drudgery for 30 hours straight without errors, for pennies, those first few rungs on the career ladder, they just disappear.
Exactly. How do you become a senior lawyer if there are no junior tasks to train on?
That is the scary part. It cuts off the pipeline, which brings up a sustainability question for Anthropic itself. They're standing there saying, no ads. But can that stance last?
That's the tension. If their growth stalls, or if the costs of running these models get too high, will they be forced to change? We might see aggressive premium tiers. The no ads promise is great today, but business reality is undefeated.
Speaking of what's next, the rumor mill is already spinning. A Claude Sonnet 5.
Yes, leaks are suggesting a release later this month, possibly timed to capitalize on the Super Bowl hype.
An AI launch during the Super Bowl. That feels unanthropic. They're usually the quiet academics in the corner.
It feels out of character, but they're a major player now. They need mainstream adoption for their subscription model to work. If they drop Sonnet 5 and it's a big leap forward, the chaos we saw today might just be the warm-up act.
And surely, at some point, the government steps in. You can't just wipe out $285 billion without someone in Washington raising an eyebrow.
Absolutely. This agentic power, the AI acting on its own, is exactly what regulators have been fearing. Now that it's hitting the stock market this hard, I think we're going to see a shift from theoretical safety discussions to hard economic regulation.
It feels like we're walking a tightrope. On one hand, incredible potential driving on Mars, free education in Rwanda. On the other, market crashes and disappearing jobs.
That's the Anthropic paradox in 2026. They're playing a different game, prioritizing long-term utility over quick ad money. But their tools are sharp, and right now they're sharp enough to cut through entire industries.
It's a lot to process. We went from the red dust of Mars to the red numbers of Wall Street. It's clear that safe AI doesn't necessarily mean safe for your stock portfolio.
Or safe for your current job description. And I think that leaves us with a provocative thought for everyone listening. If an AI can drive on Mars and do a lawyer's job on Earth, are we looking at the end of drudgery or the beginning of a genuine crisis for white-collar work?
That is the question of the decade. And here's one for you, listening right now. Would you switch to Claude permanently for a guarantee of 0 ads, even if it meant paying a premium? Or do you miss the free ad-supported internet?
It's a choice we're all going to have to make.
Definitely. Share your take with us, and as always, thanks for diving deep with us. Stay curious, everyone.